All right, welcome to this week's edition of the Gridiron Report, where we talk about everything that's going on in the Gridiron 7-on-7 League. I'm Carlos Younger, and this is Tone Colston. Tony, let's get right into it, man.
Yeah, week 3 action. We was actually at Alcoa High School this weekend. Everybody played 2 games, and we had some good teams that came in, went undefeated on the week. Just want to talk about those guys. And, in the 12U division, it seems to be team primetime. You expect them to keep winning, what I'm saying? So they went 2-0 on the weekend. Team Lions, started off the season a little rough, but came in this weekend.
Went 2-0
dominated their
as
2
well.
games, had a good time.
15U division. We had Betsy continues to set the trend. I mean, undefeated team. The only undefeated team in the league at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
The Patriots had a good weekend too. They finished 2-0, and Team Gunslinger had a good weekend, finishing 2-0 as well.
Yeah, it was a good weekend right there in that division. The Patriots actually were missing their starting quarterback this weekend, and they still came out and played well. In the high school division, we had a handful of teams this weekend, finished 2-0, and a few of them were the Admirals, Team Lions, both Wolfpack teams, black and white, came in and finished 2-0, did really well. And the Cougars, have continued their trend of, winning games.
A couple of our out-of-town programs, Team Lions and the Wolfpack, all the way down, their programs did really well this weekend. I mean, undefeated from 12U all the way up to the high school division.
Yeah, Team Lions and the Wolfpack both have, they played a couple years in the league actually, and now they have 2 teams, even 3 teams. I guess the Wolfpack has 2 high school teams and a 15U team. Team Lions has a high school team and a 12U team. And pretty much all of them went undefeated. I think the Wolfpack Red team lost 1 game but came back and won the 2nd game. So, those guys are really representing from the Chattanooga area and the upper East Tennessee area, with high talent and good competitive teams.
Our Gunslinger Invitational Tournament is coming up in a few weeks. It'll be Saturday, March the 20th.
Yeah, one of the cool things we try to do with the league is we try to provide 2 tournaments per year, a mid-season tournament where we can just have a national tournament. Anybody that wants to sign up, register, come to Knoxville, Tennessee and compete. We're going to have over 30 teams plus competing in the league, high school, 15U and 12U division this year.
All you club teams, if you want to sign up, come and sign up.
Yeah, get registered, $500, probably the cheapest tournament of the year. Saturday, March 20th, Knoxville, Tennessee. Go to gunslingeracademy.com, 7-on-7 page, scroll down, register for tournament.
Tony, let's talk about the overall standings in the Gridiron 7-on-7 League. Let's start with the 12U division.
Yeah, at the top of the charts, we got Team Primetime, 7-1. Team that actually moved up this week to play 15U a couple of games was the Rising Stars. So they played the 15U group, so they're still in 12U. They're sitting at 5-1 at 2nd place still. We got Knox Catholic, they're 4-4. The Roadrunners, a new team.
Their quarterback is really exciting.
Yeah, I know. It was pretty fun watching him play this weekend. It's the first time we see him. They've always got talent.
Yeah.
And but they actually came out like they'd actually been part of the league for the past couple of weeks. So it's fun to watch those guys go. So the Roadrunners finished 1-1. They split their 2 games.
Goon Squad, 3-5 on the year. Mm-hmm. Look for that team to kind of pick it up as we continue to move forward, Tony.
Yeah, they're kind of a new team. Like the team that Goon Squad's had the past couple of years just moved up, and they're the young team in the 15U, which, is a challenge for those guys, but they're super talented, and I know as the year goes on. But, having the 12U guys this year, they're new to it, and you've seen them improve each week, and it's a quarterback's game, right? As soon as that little guy starts figuring it out a little bit better, it's going to be on for them.
Team Lions is also 3-5, and we got the Broncos pulling up the rear at 1-7.
Yeah, okay.
15U division, Gunslinger division, we got Betsy sitting at 8-0, the only undefeated team in the league. We talked about that a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
We got the Patriots at 4-1. We got Team Gunslinger at 5-3. Mm-hmm. We got Kentucky Elite at 2-2.
Mm-hmm. They'll be back a couple of weeks here later in the year.
We got 865 Elite at 3-5, and we got the Cougars at 3-5 also.
Yeah. Not a bad division. We've got the 2 or 3 teams at the top right now and the 2 or 3 teams at the bottom. And when you kind of look at it, it's the experienced teams at the top and the teams that aren't experienced at the bottom. The guys that have been playing 7-on-7. So we hope to shake that up and see how it works out throughout the rest of the season. The Gridiron division.
Yeah, we got Smash at 5-3. Mm-hmm. We got Wolfpack Red at 3-2.
Yep.
We got Mojo at 2-4. We got the Rebels at 2-6. We got Goon Squad at 2-6, and we got the Rising Stars at 0-2. Their first week playing 15U.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a competitive division right there. You know, smashing Wolfpack Red, like you said, they've been playing for a couple years. You know, the other teams are kind of new to it, and then of course the Rising Stars were playing up this week to kind of see where they could fit in.
Tony, let's take a look at the high school standings. Those guys have been very competitive out there the first few weeks of the league.
Yeah, the high school division, of course, you know, is super competitive. Definitely once you get rolling, you know, teams start to get, you know, see who's the top teams and who's in the middle and who's in the bottom of the pack, and you know, kids start really competing because they have some pride about what they're trying to represent, you know, during the spring. So, you know, in the Gunslinger division, a team that's been part of it, you know, last year that actually was having a great season last year in the 15U division. The Admirals are on the top division at 6-2. East Tennessee Drip, you know, they lost 2 games this weekend, had some really good competition, dropped to 5-3. We got Team Lions at 5-3. We got the Wolfpack White team sitting at 3-2. We got Venom at 4-4. TNGS is at 3-5, and then we got Gym City at 3-5, and Seymour at 1-7.
In the Gridiron division, we got Wolfpack Black at 4-1. We got Gibbs at 4-1. We got Legacy Elite at 6-2. We got the Cougars at 5-3. We got the Dragons at 3-5. We got the Tribe at 2-6, and E10 Brigade is pulling up the rear at 0-8.
Yeah. You know, Gibbs has been a team that, you know, they just started the season a little bit late. You know, I think week 2 they got started. And, you know, 4-1, you know, undefeated this past weekend.
Got some playmakers.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that thing rolls out. You know, Legacy Elite sitting there at 6-2. They just had, when it goes to percentages, you know, they've got a little lower percentage right there sitting at 3. The Cougars had a big week. You know, I guess kind of talk about the Cougars. You know, they're 5-3, a team that's been back and forth in our league. You know, actually been in our league ever since we started this thing. When it gets to these Player of the Week guys, the Cougars kind of represented from the 12U guys all the way through the high school this weekend. So, you know, congratulations to those guys as we get to talking about it. I guess we'll just go ahead and move into the Players of the Week.
Let's go ahead and do that.
Yeah, all right.
The Players of the Week for the 12U division, the Gunslinger of the Week was Landon Hensley, who threw 6 touchdowns for the Cougars.
That was a big weekend for those guys. You know, Landon Hensley, I've known that kid for a couple years, you know, worked with him a little bit, you know, a couple years ago and been watching him. He might be the next guy, you know, up at Campbell County. So he had a great weekend. His go-getter
of the week is Nick Muse, who had 3 touchdowns for the Cougars.
Yep.
Big week for that guy.
So Cougars had the go-getter and the Gunslinger of the week for 12U. DB of the week, Ball Hawk of the week.
Jules Scales from Team Gunslinger had 2 interceptions.
Jules he's a talent, man. He's special. When he focuses in and narrows on his position and his what he needs to do, his assignment, he's one of those guys that can be a lockdown corner in this league and in Friday Night Football coming up. 15U?
15U, Gunslinger of the week. This guy's already won it once before.
Yeah.
Colton Faust continues to set the trend with 5 touchdowns this week for prime time.
You know, and you know that's one of the things that's going to happen. You know, once we get rolling throughout the season, guys are going to just kind of set themselves a little higher than the rest. But you know, threw 5 touchdowns and had a great weekend. Of course, Tyson Dorsey. Tyson Dorsey
continues to impress with 3 touchdowns. He had 3 touchdowns for prime time this week.
Yeah.
He's another guy who's already won an award from us this year.
Absolutely. I see those guys a little bit during the week, and impressive how good they're getting. Terry Beaufort for the Goon Squad.
Yes, he's the ball hawk of the week in 15U. He had 2 interceptions.
Yeah. You know, a few guys had 1 interception. He had 2 for the weekend. Goon Squad, I can tell you one thing about them. I don't know how many games they're going to win this year, but they might lead the league in, like, total interceptions by team. They got some guys that can cover ground and defend guys, you know. So, high school division.
Got Hunter White from the Cougars. He threw 9 touchdowns this past week. He's our overall leader, too, in touchdowns on the league for the high school division.
When we get to the leaderboard, he's right there at it now. His go-getter of the week.
Devin Jones had 6 touchdowns. He's also the leader, too, Tony.
Yeah.
For our high school division.
I think they were trying to break a record this week.
Yeah.
You know, but they didn't realize that maybe just with 2 games it's not possible. But with 6 touchdown catches, I think that's one of the tied for number 1 in like that we've ever had in 1 week. So with a 3rd game this week, I think they would have gotten it. But you know, come back next week, guys.
Legacy Elite has the DB of the week, the ball hawk of the week, Charles Robinson. He had 2 touchdowns. Here's a kid.
2 interceptions.
2 interceptions.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 2 interceptions, Tony. Here's a kid that plays quarterback for his high school teams.
Yeah.
Good to see him out there, making plays as a defensive back too as well, because I think that's where he's going to probably project.
That's what I was going to ask. A lot of guys in high school play quarterback, but when it comes to college and that sort of thing, I've seen a ton of guys go and excel and be great at those secondary skill positions, even outside linebacker positions for some guys.
I think this kid could even play wide receiver too.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, really talented player.
All right, good deal. Webb's got some athletes up there.
Tony, let's talk about the stat leaders in 12U.
12U, we really talked about the kids for the most part. So when it comes to quarterbacking, we got prime times, Colton Faust leading the league right now with 16 touchdowns. Then we got Brody Sparks with the Rising Stars, which is another experienced quarterback in the league with 14. When it comes to the rest of the guys, they're kind of mixed in the middle right now, the 7s, 6s, and 5s. So we just really want to highlight those two guys right now. They're leading the league. They're the trendsetters.
Let's talk about the wide receivers who are leading the league, Tony. For prime time, we got Tyson Dorsey with 6 touchdowns overall.
Yeah.
That kid's been balling.
He's a big target.
Big-time player. For Rising Stars, we got Isaac Summy with 4 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
He's played well, too.
Also, yeah.
And there's a group of guys tied with 3. A group of guys, about 6 guys tied with 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. And, that's impressive with 12U, to be honest with you, because 12U generally has, one guy, maybe another guy. So for these teams to have, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys, with 3 touchdowns or more, just going into week, with 3 weeks into it, it shows that teams are, having more talent on their team actually, where they can actually spread the ball around, kids can catch better and all that good stuff. So 12U guys, you're doing a really good job. When it comes to defensive side, Jeremiah Smith is leading the league with 4 interceptions. These rest of these guys are trying to catch him, but he's been at the top since the beginning, so he added 1 this week. You got Braden Howard from the Goon Squad also. We were talking about the Goon Squad defense a minute ago, so the top two of the top guys got 7 interceptions between 2 of them. We got Spence Smith with the Broncos with 3. We got David Maynard with 3 from the Rising Stars, and then we've got 5 more guys tied at 2. So, defensive backs are, they're searching the ball out and finding it a little bit. Really competitive league with the 12U guys.
A lot of guys making plays.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tony, let's talk about the 15U guys who've really gotten off this year.
All right, so 15U, 2 guys that are making a name for themselves this year, is Gip Maupin at Betsy Built, undefeated team, finds a way to win. It's actually been really fun just watching them play, and as we do the show, in the coming weeks, especially when we have the tournament, when we kind of have an open week, we'll have some more personal things to talk about. These guys are really top performers. But Gip Maupin, he's got 23 touchdowns so far in 3 weeks. Elijah Smith sitting there at 20. So that's going to be a battle. That's going to be fun. That's going to be fun to watch those guys play against each other again. I think those guys are going to be the pace setters when it comes to the quarterbacking group. But we do have another 3 guys that are kind of holding it down, right there in the middle with Hensley, Stoopberry, and Beasley, between 10 and 13 touchdowns. So you guys are going to have to get some big games up, find your receivers, get them the ball. But when it comes to our receivers,
we got Jariah Griffin from Betsy. He has 9 touchdowns on the season. Mm-hmm. For Smash, Frank Johnson has 7.
Yep.
And for Betsy, Cam Baker has 7 touchdowns. Those guys have been the pace setters so far.
Betsy Built 2 of the top 3 guys in the league, man, receivers.
There's also a couple of other guys we want to mention, too, as well, that are right there. I want to talk about 3 more guys, too, Tony, that have been playing well, too. Mm-hmm. Duggan's been playing well. Yeah. Boone McCamus has been playing well, and Buford has been playing well, too. All those guys have 6 touchdowns on the season.
Yeah, we got a tight race in the 15U go-getter for the Go-Getter of the Year award, so we got 6 guys kind of right there in the mix. Jeremiah Griffin sitting there at
he plays every week from that kid.
Yeah, no kidding. DBs, Nathaniel Thomas been sitting on the top of the board since week 1. He's got 3 picks. It looks like the quarterbacks are making better decisions right now, in this age group. But we got Nathaniel Thomas with 3. We got Jules Scales with 3. And we've got 8 guys tied with 2.
Tony, let's talk about the stats for the high school guys. I'm always interested to see what these guys have done on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to high school football, you're at that point where consistency matters. And the guys on the top of the list right now, the guys that are showing up every week and putting up big numbers, putting up highlights. So when it comes to our quarterbacks, we've got 1 guy sitting at the top of the list. He's been fun to watch for the past 3 or 4 years. Hunter White, he's got 23 touchdowns right now. Joshua Keith from Clinton is right behind him with 18. Then we got Martinez, Hall, and Martin kind of rounding out that top 5. It's a great group. I think, heck, when you look at all 5 of those guys are 5 potential college football quarterbacks when it comes down to it. But, everybody's got to have a go-getter, so they kind of match up on this list.
Yes, let's talk about the guys at the wide receiver position who've done well in the league. We got Devin Jones from the Cougars, who's leading overall with 13 touchdowns.
Yep.
Nigel Lee has been a big surprise for me. This kid is really going to make a difference for the Dragons next year.
Absolutely.
He's got 9 touchdowns in the league already, and we got Jake Roberts for Team Lions. He has 8 touchdowns.
Yeah, we were just talking about him earlier. You said he was, state
championship game MVP.
Yeah, as a sophomore?
Yeah, really big time player.
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to defensive backs, ball hawks, good thing is, like we talked about in the previous session, those numbers have went down a little bit. So we've got 3 guys really we're going to talk about in the defensive backs of the week. We got Jordan Shepard. He's got 4 with the Admirals. We got Cam Barnett with E-10 Brigade. He's got 3. And then Charles Robertson from Legacy Elite. He's got 3. All right, guys, so there's always a couple different things that myself and Carlos do throughout the year other than the Gridiron League that we want to cover during the Gridiron Report. Carlos and I are going to Dallas, Texas, Cowboy Stadium, April 9th and 10th for the Gunslinger Challenge. We'll have 75 quarterbacks from 40-plus states. If Canada will release their guys and let them travel, we have some Canadian guys coming down there. Just a ton of talent. And one of the cool things, one of the cool opportunities, I guess, is Wilson is going to be there. And one thing that Wilson does that nobody else does in the industry right now, they have a Wilson-connected football. This football, just like all the other footballs, has a chip in it, gives you a little information as you throw it. It actually takes in your spiral efficiency, your spin rate, your release time, and your velocity. So when it comes to quarterbacking, if you really want to see what type of throw you have, how you kind of compare to, the college and the pro guys, because Wilson's kind of went through and tested those guys also, see how you spin it. Come through, hit me up, gunslingeracademy.com, 865-296-1170. You want to come out and sling the ball, see where you match up, see where you stand.
Thanks for checking out this week's edition of the Gridiron Report.
And if you like what you're doing, enjoy keeping up with your teams and your players, scroll down, hit subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Check us out for next week, week 4.